What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Jets Fishing Adventures, and we are here to go over my top 3 baits for the month of May. May can be some of the best bass fishing all year. The fish are kind of in all 3 stages, You get, depending on where you're at in the country, you can have them pre-spawn, you can have them spawning, and you can have them post-spawn. Here in Tennessee, they're kind of in that spawning and getting off the beds kind of transition zone. And so we're going to go over the baits that I'm using here, and you can use where you're at depending on what period or what stage in the spawn that they're in. This time of year, there is also a big shad spawn, so that's fun to fish in the early morning, real kind of early mornings and late evenings, even into the night. That's some of the best fishing that you can do is during the shad spawn. And there's even a bluegill spawn a little bit further south, and we'll be trickling into Middle Tennessee where I live and starting into like Kentucky and all that. Now, if you're watching from up north, you can go back and look at my April video and even March and fish the same baits, and that will be good up there. Without further ado, let's get into this video. All right there. So my number 1 bait for this month would have to be a underspin. This is a Owner Flashy Swimmer. Like I said previously, this time of year, there's be a big shad spawn happening. And it's usually like the first 30 minutes of every day and that last 30 minutes of every day whenever there's low light conditions. So this time of year, the bass will be eating shad a lot, chasing after the spawning shad. You'll see little flickers up on top of the water. Anytime the water's in that, the water temp this time of year should be in that like high 60s, mid 60s to low 70s, at least here in Tennessee. That's how we've been recently. But anytime it gets in that range, the shad will start spawning as well, and you can wear them out definitely early in the morning with a little underspin like this. It's paired up with a Thresher 4.2 from Torrent Outdoors. I love this little bait, this little underspin, and this bait right here is good. If you got clearer water, you can go with a little swim bait head. Like this is a VMC hybrid swim jig head. Torrent Outdoors just came out with a head that's very similar to this, and I love it. I don't have any right now, but I've seen them been used, and they're very good. I got some on the way. But anytime you have shad spawning early in the mornings, late in the evenings, this little underspin in a little bit stainer water, dirty water, is a killer this time of year. And just pair it up with your favorite swim bait. Mine's the Thresher 4.2. This is the pure white, the brand, the new color in it. Any of the Torrent Outdoor colors is awesome on this bait. And it's got a little 4-aught hook. I run it on a 7'6" Cashion. It's actually a crankbait rod. It's an Icon, but the tip has got some backbone to it. As you can see, it's got some backbone, but the tip's soft enough to where you can actually feel this bait working. And that's anytime you feel it not working, set the hook because there's a fish. But it's a 7'6". I like that extra distance where I can kind of stay away from the banks and be able to cast real far up into the shallows and bring it out. I pair it up with a Tatula. It's a 7-to-1 gear ratio. It's a Daiwa Tatula. And then I have it paired with 15-pound Seaguar Invisex. No, I have it paired with 15-pound Tatsu. Really good line. It is a tad bit expensive, but it's well worth the money. But this is a killer setup for a little swim bait or an underspin. I throw a lot of my deep diving crankbaits on this rod as well. It's a 7'6" medium heavy. So if you want to get in the spinner and the underspin, this is the setup to do it. So here we go, on to our second bait for the month of May. This is actually our very first repeat from a previous month, but during May, you can't forget about a chatterbait. I love fishing a chatterbait. I fish it year round, and this time of year, as I previously said, the shad spawning. So if you see the shad spawning, rig you up a little white. This is a jackhammer Z-Man. It's a really good bait. A lot of money has been won off of this bait, and I've won a lot of money myself off of it. I paired it up with the 4.2 Thresher. This is an awesome little trailer for a chatterbait. A lot of swim bait trailers, you don't get the right kicking action behind a chatterbait because this blade pushes so much water and there's like a void of current behind it, so it don't really swim right. Well, with Torrent and with the Thresher 4.2 and this special tail, this little shark tail, if you will, it kicks really good behind a chatterbait because it actually catches the water. You can also peel this off, the tail off. We'll do it here. You actually peel that tail off and you get just like a regular spunk shad type trailer, or just a regular chatterbait trailer. So in a kayak, being a kayak angler like myself, having one pack of plastics can be, and instead of having multiple types of different plastics, that's why I like Torrent, because you can really make it where it can use different types of techniques. It's a very versatile bait. This time of year, as I mentioned in the intro, the bluegill will start spawning as well. So having a bluegill type chatterbait is a really good idea as well. Definitely on the Tennessee River. Tennessee River, they just love a good bluegill, the big fish. I got it paired up with a Torrent Timber Craw in the Lazy Gill color, the brand new Lazy Gill color. It's a really good trailer for this chatterbait. This is actually the new Z-Man Evo, which is $10, and I think it's almost equal to the jackhammer that comes in at like $15 to $17, depending on where you're at. I've already gone over this in a previous video, but I run the same setup. It's a iRod Genesis 2 7-foot 5-inch. It's the Snyder Snipe. My good buddy Russ Snyder actually made this rod, and I paired it up with a 7-2 SLX DC. This reel around here will launch a chatterbait. It's a 7'5", kind of medium heavy, kind of moderate. It's got a really good tip. But it's got backbone right behind the tip. The reason for that is, a lot of times if you try to run a chatterbait on a real heavy rod, you'll feel the bite so much quicker and you'll actually take the bait out of a fish's mouth. So with this big blade here, a fish will come up and eat it. Well, when you go to set the hook, this blade will actually pop open the fish's mouth and you just miss them. So having a rod that has a little bit of give, you really let that fish take it more before you set the hook. The hook set I usually do is kind of like a side sweep or an over the shoulder sweep. In a kayak, it's hard to get a good hook set, so I'll swing on them any way I can, really. But the ideal hook set is kind of over the shoulder like this or like that. I forgot to mention, I paired it up with 15-pound Seaguard Tatsu. Really good line for this. It's got a you can skip around docks. It's got it's got like a coating over it that keeps it from fraying. You can catch a lot of fish fishing around docks, fishing around grass on a chatterbait this time of year. So my third bait for this month, in the month of May, has got to be a Texas rig. You can Texas rig a worm Senko, or my favorite thing to do this time of year is Texas rig a timber craw. You fish it around brush. That's in the lazy gill color. Just an awesome color. But you can fish it around brush piles, laydowns. I like fishing around docks. That's my favorite way to fish this, really any time of year. But you can flip in the docks, skip up under the docks. I use it's a 4 for the timber crawl. I use a 4-aught owner hook. I think it's a Jungle Finesse hook. I think it's the name of it. And then I usually use like a 1/8, depending on what depth I'm trying to fish. Typically a 1/8 ounce tungsten weight. And then I use a bobber stop too. I run it with 30-pound Seaguar braid. And then I usually have a leader of 15 to 20 pound of Invisex or a Brazex, depending on kind of what my plans of fishing that day is. I really like this setup. It's a 7'3" medium heavy fast action Cashin Icon series. It's paired up with an SLX. Just a regular SLX is not the DC. This little reel around here has really impressed me. For $100, it's hard to beat. It's a 7-to-2 gear ratio. I could probably go with an 8-to-1, and it'd probably be a little better, but that's what I have right now. It's a really good reel. For $100, you can't beat them. All right, so you know, with my 3-bait video, I always have to throw one in that is a special kind of bait, kind of a unique, but usually a big fish bait. And this month, I really struggled finding one, and I really don't want to show you this bait because I've won a lot of money off of it. I've caught my biggest fish off of it, but I feel like I need to show y'all, and just to try to educate some people. And my top 4 bait, and probably my favorite bait to throw of all time, is a popper. This is a Megabass popper. Not sure what the model is. I can't remember. They name their baits a little different. But in a bluegill color this time of year, you know, the mayflies hatch. And, you know, in May, the mayflies hatch and the bluegill are spawning. So the bluegill will actually be eating all these mayflies, and the bass will come up and we'll see setting under there watching the bluegill, and then they'll eat the bluegill. So this little bait right here has won me a lot of tournaments and have got me cashed a lot of checks in my short couple of years of fishing. I almost didn't show y'all this, but I felt like I needed to. This bait is actually custom painted by one of my good friends, Greg Taylor. If you're needing any baits custom painted, he has a company called Fish It Middle Tennessee. Look him up on Facebook, and I think Instagram, on Fish It Middle Tennessee. He does an awesome job. He has some really nice crankbaits that he's painted, and he's pretty cheap. He has a really reasonable price, but look at that quality. It's an awesome quality. I had them custom painted by one of the baits that I've used a lot, and it really turned out well. So if you need anything custom painted, look him up. He does a really good job. I fish this popper on a 7-3 Cashin Elite. It's actually a worm and jig rod, but I love this rod. I've mentioned it in previous videos, but this is my favorite rod ever. You can throw a light Texas rig on it and catch any fish you want. Then you can go and throw on a top water treble hook bait, and it performs flawless. It has a really nice tip on it. A really nice soft tip with some backbone. Like I previously stated, this month the mayflies are hatching and they're all on the water. Well, a lot of times the grass is up, just not topped out yet, just below the surface, and the bluegill will stay up in that grass eating those flies. Well, the bass will eat the bluegill, And when you're throwing this little popper over, you're going to be mixing up with some big fish and some grass. And this rod, this 7'3" medium heavy, has the backbone to pull a big fish out of the grass. My personal best came on this little popper, not this one, but a popper very similar. It was about 8 pounds, 22.5 inches on Lake Chickamauga. And he jumped 3 times before I got him in the boat. And this rod worked perfectly, not letting that fish get off. I have it with a paired up with a Lew's BB1. I don't think they make this reel anymore. If they do, I'm trying to find some. I love this reel. And one of my favorite things about this reel, it actually has a clicker drag. And I just love being able to know when a fish is running and I need to loosen up my drag a little bit. I got it paired up with 30-pound Seaguar Smackdown braid in the gray color. And I just love this setup. If I can fish, if I'm fishing and I can use this setup, I will all the time. Well, that's my top 4 baits for the month of May. Comment below what your top 4 baits for the month of May is. It's always cool to see what everybody's throwing this time of year. Everybody's different, nobody's the same, so it's always just cool to interact with people and see what they're throwing. We're actually on the door of hitting 600 subs by this time of the video release. So thank you so much. And I have not forgotten about the giveaway. I'm waiting on one more package to arrive, and then I'll figure out how to do everything legally through YouTube, or I might do it through Facebook. So if you've not followed my Facebook, be sure to follow here, and then follow my Instagram here, and that way you can get all the updates. I try to update on there a lot more than here. So as soon as I can get all that done, we'll do the giveaway. And thank you all very, very much. It really truly means a lot to me that you want to watch me fish and just do some crazy stuff. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like and comment below. I'll see y'all later.